Hello, all you hardcore boxing fans out there. How you doing? It's Russ here from Porky's Corner, the voice of hardcore boxing. Today I'm joined by Terry from London. How are you doing, Terry?
I'm right, mate. You're looking healthy, though, aren't you? Look at you.
Hey, 11 and a half stone kid.
Mate, finally living up to your name.
Okay, yeah. Hey, it feels odd like eating. But you had a busy weekend. You made your debut as a commentator for Fight Zone. How did you find it?
Oh, mate. Wow. Harder than it looks. And the thing is, remember, I did the MTK show about 5 years ago with Martin and Andy. And that felt easy because obviously there's three of you and your mates, right? So you're just having fun, basically. You're talking about boxing and having fun. So when there's three of you, it's easy. When it's you on your own and you got all these thoughts going through your head, like, it was. Am I gonna say something that gets me in Bellew of the week? Am I gonna say something here that's gonna get me into helmets of the month? You just like you've got all these thoughts going through your head because you
Yeah.
know what a hard time some of these commentators get. But it's hard. It's hard. Everyone who thinks and like I can sit and say I know a fair bit about boxing. It doesn't really help you because what you're trying to do is not talk too much, you're not talk too little, but you don't know where that sweet spot is, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's right, mate. That's right. There were 10 fights on, weren't there?
Yeah, it was 10.
This were at Leicester Arena, wasn't it?
Yeah, good show.
Carl Greaves show, yeah?
Yeah, we spoke. What did we spoke yesterday,
Yeah.
Russ? And I told you it's the best small hall show I've seen in
Yeah.
terms of what I saw in the ring, quality of A sides, how hard it was for some of the A sides. I think Carl Greaves excelled in that one. That was a really good show. And if you're from the Leicestershire area, Nottinghamshire, Derbyshire, if Carl puts on another show like that, you got to head down there.
Well, that's brilliant, isn't it? That's brilliant. So you're going to do that, and obviously Dennis is going to put you with Julian doing small hall commentary. So the dream team, Bunce and John Rowling.
Nah, I'm more Nick Halling, man. Although I don't know, I might who'd be play by play in that duo. I don't know who'd do the play by play and who'd do the color commentary though.
Well, it's harder on your own, though, isn't it, Terry, than when if you're doing it with somebody else, isn't it?
Well, because you remember you're trying to talk about what's going on in the ring, but then you're aware that it's a TV show, so people can see what's going on. So you're trying to find that added layer of what can I say that maybe someone's not seeing, but it's quite hard actually. That's harder than it looks.
Yeah, it's people. Well, now you know how I feel when I'm up in the office and I write some things down. I've got to keep it going and going, haven't I?
Yeah,
It's harder than what
people,
you think of it.
people don't think. Yeah, people don't realize how hard that sort of thing is.
Yeah, unless you've got loads of practice like me, talking in mirror all day in a cell about what I'm going to do to people when I get out.
Russell Hartley podcasting since the Lindholm days.
Lindon, fucking basic regime at Morelands. That were my Achilles heel. I just couldn't get off it. uh, well, I'm pleased that you're doing something else other than obviously you train amateur fighters and that, don't you? And you do a lot of training. But I'm pleased you're doing something else in boxing that you enjoy, and and that can lead to other things, can't it? So that's a positive thing, isn't it? Really, it's good energy, isn't it?
Yeah.
And with Dennis's big shake up at the moment, let's see what's going to happen for you and Julian with fights. So, what do you think to production people? Are they all right in that?
Lovely people, lovely. So helpful, man. They went over and above just getting me settled. Hardworking people. There's a lot to do. Like when you're there watching, we had quite a skinny crew. Like normally, I think Sky will have like 7 people on cameras at various points doing different things.
Yeah.
I'm sure DAZN will have something similar. We had 3.
Right. Well, that's all right.
A lot of guys were doubling up, so they worked really hard. Credit where credit's due.
Do you remember when we went out to that Kettle Black up Ecclesall Road and Neil Kettlebrew with him on Boxing Social?
Yeah.
I remember him saying, I said, he offered me the job before Rob Tebbett. Everybody knows that. I said, no, I couldn't do it. I says, and I don't want to be bounced around country all the time. But he was telling me that you don't need all that much camera work, big cameras and all that just to set it all up, doesn't it? It's very limited because it all works off chips, doesn't it now? In back of the cameras, there's not that much cable
Well,
used to be, is there?
well, so it's less that, it's more how many shots you can get, Russ.
Yeah.
You know, so you want to make sure you got guys around the ring so you can get all those different angles like you see on Sky, DAZN, BT, etc. And that's manpower. You're never going to get away from needing manpower.
Yeah, but it's all good gear they use and everything, is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Well done. And who's standout kid that Carl Greaves has got?
But there were loads, man. Like I think they were virtually all southpaws. The young girl Ellis Hopkins, young traveller girl, looked good. Probably needs to work harder. Work rate wasn't there, but the skills are there. Probably could box at welterweight, not light middle. There are a couple of things, but she'll find her voice. She's only young. Kid lost to Caroline Dubois in the national juniors, so she keeps in good company for sure. Kid Brad Bethel, I think that was his third fight. He looked good. I think I said to you yesterday, he had a bit of the Frankie Gavin about him. Like Brad Goldsmith. I also liked who's the other lad that looked good as well? Blocko. Is it Callum Blockley? He looked good as well. There's a few of them that look really good, Russ. All southpaws.
He's a quiet operator, Carl Greaves. You don't hear him shouting his mouth off and all that, do you?
Man, he's too busy. Like, if you think about it, right? Carl's doing his own shows. He's managing fighters. He's matchmaking for whoever. He's too busy to be doing anything other than boxing.
Comes across all right, though, doesn't he?
Lovely guy. Lovely guy. Always full of energy, always full of life. You can see why he's easy to deal with.
Yeah. They want to put fights on, don't they? That, you know, to be honest, don't they? They want to just put them on, don't they? You know?
But he's also like he's lucked out, right? Because he seems to have found the only part of the country that the rest of us don't know about in terms of boxing talent. So he's kind of got that all to himself.
Well, that's good, isn't it?
Yeah. He's in a good position right now.
Well, good. I'll tell you somebody else who's not in a good. I'll tell you somebody who's not in a good position. Boxer size Ben Davison. What's happened to him?
Oh, what's happened this time?
Well, Josh Taylor's left him for Joe McAnally, who's training Beefy Smith.
Yeah, odd one.
I called it, didn't I, when Catterall beat him, but didn't get a decision. I said he'll go him. He'll leave him. He'll not want to come back. And if he puts a performance in like that, people will say, I told you so. Because that's what happens in boxing. People get in your ear. But he didn't do all heavy lifting to do with Josh Taylor, did he?
How do you describe that situation? I think I said at the time, I said, a lot of people have had their worst performances when with Ben Davison.
Yeah.
Now, it might be an accident. I don't know. But it's something that people need to start looking at.
Billy Joe, Fury, Taylor all performed bad on his watch. That's what happens. There's no substitute for experience. Nobody's saying he ain't going to be a good trainer down the line, but he's a babby, isn't he?
Yeah.
No. Okay. Fury sozzled at Joyce Parker fight with his dad in tow. Never want to miss a PR opportunity or exert themselves in the storyline with Chisora and all that. Do you feel that the Gad at Talksport ruined Joe Joyce's moment? Because a lot of people are saying online that the Gad going after Chisora, Fury, and all this carry on and talking about AJ and that. Forgot about Joe Joyce. Obviously, he did interview him, but he mainly made it about them, didn't he? You know what I mean?
Gareth A. Davis is irrelevant to boxing, right? He's just one of them baubles on a Christmas tree, isn't he? He's just there. And it's the only way he can make any money because I don't think he could do anything else. So he just, doesn't mind making a dick of himself to keep in that circle. I mean, he's like a court jester. So I don't take what he says seriously. Like he hasn't bled for this. And yeah. The sooner someone can find some dirt on his laptop, the sooner we can get rid of him.
Yeah. He's always there, isn't he, or thereabouts. I mean, I mean, he's that far up Fury's rear. He's eating his pot noodles for him, isn't he?
Just, but all of that from because remember, mate, I was commentating, so I didn't get to see any of that live. So I've just kind of got to see the aftermath, right?
Yeah.
And it all just looked a mess.
Yeah.
You got Fury looking like God knows what's in him. John Fury trying to pick a fight with Derek. Derek going, I know I've got to play a role here, but I don't even know what my role is anymore. Manuel Char jumping in and all of this, and you're just
Eric
like,
high fiving Frank Warren and all that. What's all that about? Because he's looking for a home, isn't he?
that's just embarrassing. Or, and this is what we all allowed, right? We all allowed this because we said we were going to keep watching Derek. Stop watching these people, for God's sake. Stop watching, stop liking, stop retweeting for clout. Just stop doing it for clout. Let's just all stop and just ignore them because they've ignored the fans. We know the fight that should have happened. It shouldn't have taken this long to agree. They already have the contract from 2 years ago. This fight shouldn't have taken that long to agree.
What do
So
you
we
think?
knew it wasn't going to happen.
What do you think, Terry, about this Fury Joshua thing? It's all become a bit tired now, and I know people who are fans, and they're like, if it don't happen now, I am never watching again. It's had a knock-on effect where fans are turning, aren't they?
Nah, they're not turning. I'll watch it, man. Boxing fans are weak. I mean, they're weak. No, I won't watch it. I won't watch it. Oh, go on then. Oh, go on then. They'll watch it. They're too weak not to. And that's why these guys do it, because they know boxing fans have no spine. This should have been over a long time ago. We should have written this off a long time ago. Why didn't we?
Yeah.
Why are we even talking about it? I feel dirty just talking about it. As far as I'm concerned, it's all done for me, right? The only heavyweights I care about now are Femi, Joe Joyce, Daniel Dubois. People who put their hands up every time.
Who do you think's to blame for this, though?
Us, the boxing fans, us, your channel, my fucking channel, we're all to blame because we play this game. One day we should just have a blackout and just not mention it, right? Just not mention it. When Fury writes something, just ignore it, right? Everyone just report the tweet for spam because that's what it is. It's spam. Yeah, everyone report those tweets that Fury puts out. Get him banned like Donald Trump is off Twitter, and get all of them banned. Get Hearn banned. Why are we still here fucking around? Why?
I know.
I'm tired of fans complaining about shit and then accepting it because it gives them clout and they can sit in their local shitty pub with their mates and go, yeah, I know a lot about boxing with their little MTK t-shirts on. They're the problem. I'm the problem. You're the problem. We're all the problem because we got sucked into this game because we like think of the views. No. They've yanked our chain again. And the reason they do it, Russ, is this. They get to trend, let's just say 300 days of the year, right? So when they go and talk to sponsors, it's like, look, I'm doing numbers 300 days of the year. And most of my content's video. So all this stuff at Furiosity, they're like, yeah, he's doing good numbers. They don't care if it's good or bad publicity. So they just keep yanking your chain just so they can get their numbers up. How can we be in a position where we don't even know who Fury's going to fight? It could be Joshua. It could be Char. It could be Dillian. It could be Derek. How are we in this position?
I mean, it shouldn't even be about them. It should be Joshua Fury's accepted 40%, get in a room and thrash it out. How hard can it be? You know, the majority of boxing fans, they've never actually seen a proper boxing contract, and it's not really that hard to fathom out. You go and train, then you go fight, and you get paid. Or if you want it in an escrow, they all do it with your lawyers.
But here's the thing, right? They were going to fight December 3rd, right? Mayweather signed the Pacquiao contract 6 weeks out or something like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, this could have, but they were never going to do it as far as I'm concerned. Maybe they were. I don't know. It doesn't feel like there's been a serious attempt to do something here. But I'm going to come back to what I said before. I believe the same person controls both men. That's why we've had this whole song and dance. The same person controls both men.
So, how long do you think it'll be before they do fight now, or do you think it's gone now?
Mate, I don't care. I don't see Joshua going in with like a Joyce or Dubois winning. So he's just going to get battered again.
Do you feel that they're trying to build it up like a Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao thing, where it goes on for that long that eventually it is massive?
No, because it's generally accepted that Mayweather Pacquiao was smaller than it could have been that they fought a couple of years earlier.
Yeah. You think they left it too late, didn't they?
They probably misjudged it, yeah.
And do you think these are going to fall into the same trap?
The world's just going to move on, Russ.
Yeah.
That's all that's going to happen. The world's going to just move on. Like you and I talk about this offline, obviously, but the average age of a boxing fan goes up every year. We're not getting new kids in. The new kids will watch KSI, they'll watch Logan Paul, they'll watch Jake Paul, they'll watch all these guys like, who are these guys who are fighting on Bouncer's show? They'll watch all of that stuff now because those guys are just getting in and having a scrap. They're not messing about.
Okay. We'll probably come back to that later. Well done to Eddie Hills giving the VIP treatment to Scott Brunt at Nottingham overnight, sat next to him and all that.
Why was he wearing a vest?
That was great of Eddie, wasn't it?
Why was he wearing a vest, though?
He just says he don't like to be hot and sticky at these boxing shows in a shirt, and that's why he likes to wear a vest. So, well done. Well done, Eddie. Looking after our man. What has happened to Adam Booth? Out to Adam Booth, the Dark Lord. Where is he? What's happening with him?
He's the best.
Yeah, where is he though? Is he retired or we don't hear from Adam Booth, do we?
He's got money. He doesn't need money. And I think what's happened is he can't find a ready-made star anymore. That's his problem, right? Because he made his career off Hay. Then he got George. Both of them were kind of ready-made. Burnett was ready-made, but he struggles. Conlon's got a hard road back. Shannon Courtney's got a hard road back. He's probably there going, listen, I'm in my 50s now. Do I still need to be doing this nonsense?
Yeah, poor Adam Booth, the Dark Lord.
But now, what I like now is the rest of the country's now catching on to what I said when I said he was a hoax.
Well, he trained world champions, though, didn't he?
Yeah, but you could have trained those guys to world championships. In fact, who did you train? Well, him or Hay and Burnett. You could have trained those to world titles. And I mean, remember, Burnett won his title of who? Lee Haskins.
Yeah.
So really, you're not a world champion. You're like a world British champion.
Like Calzaghe.
But at least Calzaghe jumped in towards the end and got put down a few times. He felt elite power.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. Carlos Sauerland and Nissi Sauerland, they've become like YouTube KSI Jake Paul fanboys and what's going on? They're turning into clowns, aren't they?
It's like asking someone's dad to pick the music at an under-16s disco. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just they're trying to relate to a demographic they're out of touch with, both from an age perspective, cultural perspective, all of that. Man, they're out of touch, and they're just trying to get involved. You know what I always say, Russ. The grift is universal. So the Sowlers aren't above prostrating themselves for the grift, get a bit of attention for themselves, and see if they can make a few quid off it.
Yeah. Well, good luck to him. Floyd Mayweather. There's talk of him and McGregor again, or him and Pacquiao, or him and Jake Paul. What do you think about Floyd at the moment?
So I'm in two camps. One, I don't like watching the physical decline. Like, remember, like for me, he's one of the three greatest human beings to ever lace on a pair of boxing gloves, as far as I'm concerned.
And what other two?
Duran is one. The third one, mate, it could be anyone. But for me, those are the two that I say, right. They rewrote the rules of boxing.
You rate Duran that high?
Yeah, I do. You know, he made his debut at just over bantamweight. He made his debut at 119 pounds, Porky, and he fought Iran Barkley at 168.
Mm.
Right? Who moves up 50 pounds? Who?
Terry Harper.
Oh my God. We're going to do
We'll come to that one later.
So in terms of Floyd, just to close that off, don't like seeing him decline physically because obviously he's a guy that I think is special.
Yeah.
But I also understand the fact that he built a Mayweather brand and he should be able to make as much money from that Mayweather brand as he can because he built that. No one else built the Mayweather brand but him.
Yeah.
It's like you, Russ, right? Let's say you're still selling cars and you're selling 3,000 cars, right? You do 3,000 a year, Porky. No, let's say you do 3,000 a year because people just have to get that
stuff like that.
Yeah. You know, I can't tell you, mate. Look, you're old now. Yeah, step aside and let the young guys step through because you're like, I'm going to keep selling cars till I can't sell another car, and no one should have the right to stop you.
Yeah, that's Floyd, isn't it? No one can stop him earning a living doing exhibitions, can they?
Because he's not stopping anyone from boxing.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from. What happened to Eddie Hearn's plans when he were telling us that, listen, stick behind me with these YouTubers and all these fans will come into boxing? They haven't come in, have they?
Well, they have, but just not into what we call boxing. So just not into traditional boxing. But mate, some of these shows that these guys are doing off the grid, they're doing good numbers. They're doing better than small hall shows, right? Yeah. They can get 3,000-4,000 kids in. You can't do that at York Hall. So they're doing well for themselves so far.
All right. Joe Joyce, 15-0, 14 by way of, and there's footage, not like Eddie Earls. He's run through everybody. He's got 3 wins over world champions. Stabern, he's beat Dubois, and he's just done Parker, hasn't he? So he's got a decent CV. What do you think about all this roadman killer, 5 times the strength of a normal human being, bone density, superhuman stuff? They're all talking about him like he's going to kill us in our beds at night, you know, like they were with about David Big Truck Price, you know, aka Man at CNA.
1 second, mate. Someone's trying to ring. Who's this?
Terry in his penthouse in London with proper fancy buzzer. Me there in my shack.
Nah. We're all white here. Later. Sorry about that, man. No idea what the fuck they wanted.
All right. Well, on about
Joe Joyce, the killer.
Joyce is going to kill us all in our beds and all these scary Terminator, 5 times the strength of bone density of a normal human being. Superhuman, Super Joe. Well, all that.
That used to be you, Porky.
I know, yeah. We had it with David Price, though, didn't we? AKA Man at CNA. We had it with him.
So let me give my take on Joe. And this was from talking to a lad who trained with him for most of his amateur career. Joe could have played number 8 for England, right?
Or rugby.
Yeah. Probably could have been a good goalkeeper. He probably would have been an all right basketball player. Joe's one of those guys. He's a sportsman. You know the guys I'm on about, Russ. You know they can turn their hand to anything.
Yeah.
And they pick it up quick enough. And it's not like they're the most skillful or the flashiest, but what they do is they get the job done.
Mm.
And that's what Joe is. Joe's a guy who knows how to get everything up to a 7 out of 10. So it's very hard to beat him because there's no obvious weakness. People say, he gets hit easily. Yeah, but his chin's holding up so far. You know, so let's just enjoy him while we've got him. Like, we don't have to talk about him being Superman. He's a fighter who entertains. Like he will punch holes in you. That's what we wanted, right?
Yeah.
He's everything we wanted Femi to be.
Does he beat Femi? Big Meech.
Yeah, he crushes him. He crushes him.
Mm.
You think Femi's taking those left hooks to the head? No, he crushes him. The only question would be around psychology. Because they've been in camp before and because they've worked together, does Joshua have an edge in that sense? But that's the only way forward, I think, for Joshua.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting moving forward. Mark Efron won at weekend, round 1 knockout. Give me fight for him, but he's probably put him on that show because he does thousands of tickets, doesn't he?
Yeah, Efron's a nice lad. Nice kid. His brother Ronnie was a nice kid. I'm happy for him because he's been a pro for a while. What, 11, 12 years? He's been a pro for a while.
He had a bit of time off though, didn't he?
Yeah, understandable, But I'm glad that he's got that British title. Will he fight for a world? Nah, I don't think Joe can get him there. But he could have some entertaining fights.
Yeah.
There are a few kids coming through, like, your Zach Chellies and whatnot, who I think will be good fights for him further down the line.
Frank might pinch him a WBO down line, eh?
What, box? Who's got it now? Canelo? Oh.
If the belt comes free, you never know, do you?
Yeah.
That always it one as well. The very second name, Echo and the Bunny Man. What's his second name?
Echo Esserman.
Echo Esserman, that's him, yeah. He won.
Let's give him some respect though, right? Because he's done everything under the radar. But here's a British welterweight, outright British champion, hasn't really looked in trouble so far at British level. So are we going to get a fight against a Chris Congo or whatever? Those kind of benchmark fights that we now need to see. Yeah, I don't think you see Conor at 147 again. I look at it, Russ. Like with him, he fought Sam Anthony. Sam Anthony's no mug. Okay, he's not a ticket seller, which is why he doesn't have the profile he deserves, but he's no mug. And so that's a decent win. And he's just done it all off the radar, which I like. And another guy from the East Midlands, right? Like there's decent talent around there.
Yeah. Okay. Maxie Hughes done Galahad. What do you think to that? Do you think Galahad's a gatekeeper now?
He's had a long career. Not many fights, but he's had a long career. He turned pro at 18?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's old. Well, how old is he? Like 32, 33? He's old.
Yeah, do you think that's it for Galahad now? Do you think he'll have to go on road and that? Because he doesn't do tickets, does he? And he's got an horrible style. Do you think that's it for him now? Or do you think he'll have to go on road? What do you think?
I think Hearn had him as long as he believed he could win a world title, right? Because Hearn was like, here's the guy that can get me another belt. Now that he's shown that he can't, and we still need to have a conversation in this country and among boxing fans. Is the IBO a world title? Yes or no? At the moment, I say no, but we all need to.
I say
and
yeah.
we all. I'm saying this because I don't want a 5-belt era, because we may as well just bring the WBU back and the WBF, just bring everything back, right? And then we end up in chaos. We have to draw a line and say there's some stuff that's serious and there's stuff that's not.
Yeah, it's only because IBO don't do mandatories that Ring Magazine won't sign them off as being the 5th belt. That's the only reason. And I don't think IBO are that friendly with Ring Magazine. So that's how I look at it. But
do you want 5 belts? Do you want 5 people walking around saying they're world champion?
I think that the IBO have got more integrity than the WBA, for example, and
which I don't mind. So let's vote one out and one in.
Well, yeah. Well, let's vote. I want the WBA gone. That's gone.
Yeah, agreed.
That's the worst one out of the 5, isn't it? The WBA.
Agreed.
Then the WBO, stroke WBC. IBF are probably the cleanest organisation because didn't they have FBI investigating when they have to show them the books every year, don't they, since 1984 or something? So
they have to stick to the rules, yeah. But I've always said, with the WBC and the IBF, you generally get the fights you want to see.
Well, the WBC don't like the undisputed fight, do they? They don't like to share that gate money and whatever fees, do they? No, they like to stop undisputed fights, the WBC, and that because their belts always get fragmented after it, even if they allow one, don't they?
Yeah.
And that bothers me because I think the other organisations are all for it. But okay. Anna Rankin lost to Terry Harper. What do you make of all that?
Well, Hannah Rankin, I don't want to word this. I think people's output in the ring will reflect the character and the quality of the trainer easily, right? Hannah Rankin boxed like I imagine her trainer would, right? Wasn't very effective, and it's a shame because Hannah Rankin has all the raw materials you'd want in a female light middleweight, but I don't think she's been led the right way. I don't know if you can fix it now. Not for me to say, but I would be looking long and hard if I was her, saying, "Can these people around me make me better?" I don't think they can, because if they could have, they would have done.
Yeah.
I don't understand how Terry Harper's coming up and having an easy time of it at 154. She shouldn't have had an easy time of it. I was just thinking, imagine if Natasha Jonas had jumped in with Hannah Rankin. That would have been a bloodbath.
What people are forgetting is nobody's putting Terry Harper on 6 o'clock news on ITV to say what a great achievement it is. But could you imagine Dennis McCann going and beating Charlo? Because that's the same difference, isn't it?
Yes, but we're not talking about divisions with the same amount of maturity.
Well, we've got 56 active light middleweights in the world, female, and 1,917 men. So that's why we don't have British title fights for women in this country, because there aren't the people there, is there?
So the depth.
So there's 35 times more men than women in that weight. So when people keep saying so and so and so and so is the world champion, well, there's only so many in the division, isn't there?
And also look at the rankings. Like, you can be ranked number 3 in your division with a losing record. It's not unusual.
I know, yeah, it's madness, isn't it? And people are buying into it.
Yeah.
That's why I used to argue with Dennis. Don't talk to me, Dennis, about female boxing, because I know your real opinion about it. But now all of a sudden everybody's had to go PC, haven't they? And put it on, haven't they?
But look at the people, and there are a couple of trainers you can take off this list because they've achieved other things. But there are a lot of boxing trainers who took female fighters because they just wanted to be able to say their gym was a home of a world champion. Right? That's what they wanted to say. It's cynical, it's corny, and a lot of those guys training female fighters now aren't even a fan of female boxing, women's boxing. Sorry,
none of them
aren't fans of it.
None of them. Why is Eddie Hill signing gloves for fans at shows? What is going on? Is he making a comeback?
Well, let's just go back to the point I made earlier, Russ. The problem with boxing is the fans.
Yeah.
They're mostly idiots. A lot of boxing fans are just idiots. They're idiots. And they're in the sport because, like I said, they get to sit in their local pub and tell their mates they're boxing fans. And they love all of that because it beats telling them that they like playing with Meccano sets and stuff. That's the harsh reality of it. So when they see someone like Eddie Hearn, it's like, oh my God, I can tell my mates that I met Eddie Hearn from London. Do you know what I mean? It's cringeworthy. That's what it is. It's cringeworthy. And it's not Eddie's fault, by the way. These are adults doing this. It's cringeworthy.
Yeah. Buatsi and Pascal, what do you think to that, Terry?
It was never going to happen.
Ernst
pulled
that, hasn't he?
When it was made, I said to Dan Aziz, start lobbying Ben Shalom for the Pascal fight. Buatsi will never take it. Just make sure you're next in line for that, because that's a winnable fight.
Like that to him. I'm thinking, well, Pascal will be free because Buatsi will pull out because he don't want to work with Warren, do they?
Yeah.
And I thought, I bet Pascal is all right for Dan Aziz. I bet Terry starts going on about that fight.
Mate, I said, as soon as the fight was announced, the purse bids went in. I said, nah, Dan, just get ready. But whether Ben Shalom wants to stump up the 850 grand, whatever it will cost to make that fight, I don't know. I don't know if Sky's got that kind of money.
Is that what Pascal's on?
No, that was the winning purse bid was 975,000, right?
They're probably on $500,000 each, then, aren't they? You thought it 50-50 split, that, wasn't it?
60-40. I can't remember which way, if it's for the home fight or the away fight.
One's got 580 and one's got 420. It's not
Yeah.
bad, is it?
That's good money.
Yeah. Callum Smith, Boatsy, that's not on now. That's the talk, and that's died down, hasn't it?
Eddie's not going to put two of his guys in together.
Yeah.
Although you never know if DAZN will force his hand. I have a feeling that DAZN will be a bit more aggressive in saying to Eddie, how can we have all of these assets here and we're not making money off them by them fighting each other and us keeping this on the platform?
Yeah. What do you think to Bellew was commentating? Do you think he was sticking it to Galahad a lot?
Mate, I haven't seen the whole fight. So I've had to catch up on highlights.
Online, getting a lot of stick. It was a mandatory decision, obviously, on it, but he's getting a lot of stick. Could have gone either way, I thought. I'm glad Maxi won because he's local, isn't he, to me? But I thought it could have gone either way. But he's done well for him, hasn't he? Steffi's done well for Maxi Hughes and Sean O'Hagan, haven't they?
I'll say, well, to be honest, the happiest thing about it was seeing Sam Smith in the corner for Maxi Hughes. Sam's a good friend of mine. What a journey she's had in boxing over the last probably 5 years. You know, from just literally doing the kind of the backwaters to then jumping onto the British scene, fighting in Spain, having her own gym, and now she's in the corner with Maxi Hughes. I'm happy for her. And that's a great boxing story, and it's a sign that, you know, you can always grow in the sport. In terms of Galahad and Bellew, remember, when you're Eddie Hearn's favorite, Bellew will blow smoke up your backside. When you're not, he'll stick it to you. So you know that Galahad's on his way out.
Yeah. Okay. You want to join us in part 2, Terry?
Of course.